How to deal with misogyny in the workplace. In this video, I hope you really pay attention because I'm trying to help you and everyone to avoid as much pain as possible in this industry by leaning towards and more into more correct behaviors. So the way I look at it is we can either learn from wisdom or sad experience, and I want to get rid of all the sad experience for anyone in this industry. So what is misogyny? What are some examples? And what can we do about it? If you're experiencing it, or if you've just recently become aware of it and are leaning more into more proper behavior. What can we do about it? What actual steps will help you as you do so? So first and foremost, let me talk about the definition. So the definition of misogyny is the dislike, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women. Now, I know that sounds really dramatic, and I know that that sounds really harsh. I will say that this is a real problem, especially in the construction industry. Yes, we've made lots of progress. Yes, we're in a much different spot. However, the only thing worse than not making progress would be to make progress and then to revert backwards or to stop making progress. So let's keep going. I am not an expert on this, but I can say that I've had personal experiences in my life that make this subject very important to me. I have people, obviously like you do, that I care about very much that makes this important to me. And I will say that you are important to me as well. And again, I would like everyone to avoid the pain, everyone, including you or including people who might suffer from being a little bit misogynistic, from actually having to experience this. So let's learn from wisdom and not sad experience. Let's create wonderful, remarkable environments in the construction industry and move forward in a wonderful way. So let's grow together. And please like the video if you find this content helpful, and then obviously subscribe so you can get more content as we move forward. So first and foremost, I'll do a little bit of a passionate kind of a rant, and then we'll get right into the data. But literally, we need to come to terms with what's happening. As an industry, so I'm not attacking anyone, I'm just saying as a whole, we have a major problem. We have, for every one person that comes into construction, we have 5 leaving, and that's a huge problem. We have workers that no longer want to be workers. We have people that no longer want to enter the trades. We have women and minorities that do not feel welcome. And I will say, from a data standpoint, it is because we've been very clear as an industry that we don't appreciate and love our workers, that we don't want them here, that we will or have in the past treated them like they're second-class citizens. Women are not in the industry in the numbers that they should be and promoted as such because we've been very clear that we don't want them historically, and that minorities and other ethnic groups, that they're unwelcome. And so this behavior has brought forward the consequences of us now not having the diversity that we need, the people that we need, and the environment that we need. So if you're like, Jason, I think you're being a little bit dramatic, then let me ask you this question. Would you want your son or your daughter to go work with that iron worker crew out in the field? Would you want them to go erect steel with the steel erection company that's out in the field right now? Would you want them to go out with a concrete crew? Would you, before saying, hey, let's go to college, say, hey, no, come out here and work in construction? If the answer is no, then you know we have a problem. You know that they're going to come out and not have good bathrooms. You know they're going to come out and experience racist remarks. You know that your daughters are going to come out and experience people catcalling them or being disrespectful or harassing them. You know it's going to happen. So I'm not being dramatic. No gaslighting on the other side of this camera. It's a real problem. We need women and men. We need all ethnicities. We need all kinds of diversity. And we need to start welcoming more people into this industry in a place where they actually want to be a part of, to counteract the amount of people that are leaving in comparison to those that are coming in the industry. We need to reverse the message we're sending. The message we're sending right now is we don't want you wonderful people. But the real truth is we need them and we do want them. So it's time for us to act like it. So let's head in this direction. So if you're like, oh gosh, here's another one of these messages. Just stop it. Like, this is a real thing. It all comes down to, let's do the right thing. Let's be sensitive of people's experiences, and let's make sure that we're being inclusive. So let's go. So let me start out by saying, here are some behaviors that are misogynistic that you may or may not have been aware of. And let me tell you just a very, very personal story that I'm not really proud of, but it is one of the best moments that has ever happened in my life. I grew up in California, which doesn't matter too much other than back in the day. It's a pretty open, jokey, kind of irreverent environment where I grew up. Okay? I grew up in an industry where people would catcall women, in an industry where you would see naked pictures on the walls, where women were not equally paid, there was harassment everywhere, and people, quite frankly, thought it was funny. Okay? So that's where I grew up. I was completely ignorant and unaware of what was really happening and why this trend has been happening in the industry and why we don't have more women in construction. Completely ignorant to it. Fast forward a couple of years from those early days, when I was in a situation where somebody made an inappropriate comment to another female employee. I not only did not recognize it, did not see it, did not dig deep like I should, but I didn't correct the situation. And that man was fired and I was suspended for a month. And I was so mad at the person that suspended me because I'm like, what's going on? What's this? I didn't know, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, dude, just because you've never been corrected, just because you've never been exposed to this does not make it okay to not do the right thing. And I hated this man for years. And I was so mad, I was so upset, and I was like just infuriated because that month of being suspended without pay was like the worst month of my entire life. Like, bar none. Never had a worse time in my entire life. But now, because of the awareness that it's brought me, I think that was probably one of the best moments of my entire life. And if I met that man again who suspended me, I would say thank you. I appreciate this. Thank you for opening up my eyes to the experience that other people have and helping me to create a safer environment for other people and to learn and grow. Okay? Super painful, yes. Needed, yes. Probably the best moment of my life. So I'm a little bit rigid when it comes to this. Like, when we experience things, when we see misogyny, when we know that it's happening, we take action. Like, bottom line, we just fix it. We get it fixed, even if it's hard. For those of us who might be guilty of this or have been guilty of it in the past, there's nothing wrong with that pain. The pain of growing is totally fine. Okay? First and foremost, protecting the innocent, protecting victims should be our first priority. So that's my story. That's why I care. I care because it's the right thing to do. So here are some signs that you may not have been aware of. So number one, calling women by pet names like sweetie or honey. Those are things that you would call dogs by. Like, those are names and nicknames that you would say to your dog. We don't say that to other female employees. You call them by their name in very respectful environments and in a respectful way. Number two, objectifying women. Like, that is a 100% inappropriate thing to do, in my opinion, in general, but especially in the workplace. We, again, do not catcall. We do not make comments about people's bodies. And again, this is not a lecture. I am really, really trying to curate a safe environment for you and everybody else. But we just don't make comments like that. It's just not permanent. Whether or not we think somebody's pretty, it's just not a thing, right? I enjoy working with you. You ran that meeting well. You have very good effort. You are professional. I've really learned this. Like, those are all totally appropriate. Oh, you're so pretty. I like your hair. Wow, that's a nice dress. Probably doesn't belong in no, I won't say probably, definitely doesn't work in the workplace, because then people start to feel objectified. 3, saying that a woman is too much, too emotional, too sensitive is completely inappropriate. First of all, anyone, male or female, can be sensitive, can be emotional, and can have different responses. Just because I or you have normalized a certain type of behavior or a certain level of, I would say, emotional reactions doesn't mean that's right for everyone. The right response is I control my emotions, somebody else controls theirs, and I don't have to get triggered at everything. It's totally okay for people to have feelings. It's totally okay for people to have reactions, and it's totally okay for them to show up as their authentic selves. So there is no such thing as too much. As long as somebody is being respectful and not being racist and not being sexist and not being harassing and obviously not being discriminatory, their emotions are theirs to manage. And we do not belong calling people's emotions too much, quote unquote. 4, it is inappropriate for us to ignore the circumstances that women go through. And if a woman is pregnant, and this goes actually for women and men when it comes to maternity or paternity leave, we cannot ignore things like pregnancy, the needs of different genders, and we cannot allow promotions and pay and opportunities to be reduced simply because somebody might be on maternity, and I will also include the men on this, paternity leave, and we cannot punish genders for going through things like that. It's a natural part of life. We need to provide inclusive environments for women specifically based on their circumstances. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. Because it's exactly what it will take to become inclusive. And it honors and respects the wonderful talent and diversity that we have with women. So ignoring the circumstances that other genders go through and ignoring the needs that they have is definitely a classification or a part of a misogynistic attitude. Number 5, labeling inappropriately. Stereotypes, saying, hey, well, you're a woman, you do this, or you can always take notes, or you're always so sweet, or you should look nicer. These are all stereotypes that just don't belong in the workplace. However you're going to treat someone in a professional and appropriate manner, we should do equally across all genders. Number 6, sexual harassment, obviously inappropriate. And you know what I'm talking about. Unwanted advances, right? Inappropriate behavior, inappropriate jokes. And I will say real quick, just as a side note, it doesn't matter what people intend. It matters how it was received. Any behavior that could be perceived, whether somebody says they care or not, in an inappropriate way is sexual harassment. It just is. So it doesn't matter what we intended. It matters how somebody took it. So those types of things just do not belong in the professional environment. Advances, right? Sexual advances, commenting on somebody's looks, right? Asking for certain things, offering promotions or other things for sexual favors. All of it's inappropriate. It doesn't belong in the workplace. Hopefully everybody's aware enough of that to where it doesn't happen anymore. 7, obviously discrimination against women, totally not appropriate. 8, and this is a big one. Yeah, I'm kind of passionate about this one. Not paying or promoting women equally. I can tell you, I've worked with a lot of women and men, and I'm telling you, the diversity is amazing and it's fantastic, but I'm telling you the skill level on both sides is absolutely amazing and equal. And so the pay and the promotions need to be equal as well. I've heard all of the arguments about, this and that, and this person's stronger and they've done this, and I don't care. We should have just as many women CEOs, just as many women superintendents. We should pay equally. It's time to just get this done. There's just no excuse not to. Like, that's old news. Let's move into a space where we're creating an environment of inclusion. Those are some of the signs, and they're tragic. And in the description below, I'm going to link you to a video that's quite painful to watch. And what it's doing is it's showcasing misogyny in the workplace and what women actually experience. And we just must become aware. And if somebody, and I do want to say this, if somebody's like in a certain political party or they have really strong opinions about this, I love it. I'm not coming at this from a political standpoint. I'm coming at this from a let's do the right thing standpoint. Let's all be human beings standpoint. Let's have fundamental respect for people standpoint. Let's make sure that we are treating people like we want to be treated. Let's do the right thing. Honest, ethical behavior. And when I become aware, when you become aware, that isn't some political movement. That's called human consideration. That's called human decency. That's called doing the right thing, like I said. And so we get to do it. So those are some of the signs. Be aware of them. Now, if it happens, here's what we can do. And actually, before I talk about some of the things that we can do, please comment on this video. I want to hear from you. Let's get a discussion going. So first, learn about it. If you see a video, an article, a training, an awareness training, take it seriously. Please get off your phone. make sure that you're digging in and getting educated about the subject, because it's a real thing. 2, I want to make the point, it costs you nothing. Hey, and I know this is like a triggering thing, and some of you other dudes out there, or I'll even say white dudes, right? I'm a white dude, so I can talk about it. Like, you're like, why are we talking about it? It's not a big deal. Like, I get no, you don't. It doesn't cost you anything to like do the right thing and help people out. You will never know. I will never know what it's like to be a woman in construction. I will never know what it's like to be a minority in construction. It costs me nothing to be considerate and open and aware and sensitive, and to believe other people's experience, and to do everything I can to help out the situation. It costs me nothing, it costs you nothing. But I'll tell you what it does do, it changes everything. So the second thing I want you to do is know that you have every opportunity to make a huge difference in this industry if you'll just stand up and do something. Dig deeper. If you see something and you notice, obviously say something, speak up, and handle it. I remember a very wise gentleman saying, there's nothing that can go wrong with reporting it. Meaning that if somebody didn't mean it a certain way or technically didn't do anything wrong, reporting it's not going to make it worse. It either was a thing that can be corrected or it wasn't. There's nothing that is in its own unique category and that will be tainted or skewed or taken out of context if it was reported. Reporting it every time is the answer. And I will say once more, and I've said this before on other videos, the most dangerous people in your organization are the ones that won't speak up. Because when we don't speak up and people don't say something and we don't get these things fixed, then we don't progress forward and people get hurt. So if you see something, say something. And number 3, teach and train. Don't just watch this video, share this video. Don't just learn about it, learn and share. Don't just learn about it, learn and share, but actually create a training program for your own company. Make it a topic of discussion. Reinforce the behavior. Speak up and let people know exactly how you feel about it. Sometimes dissension is not any worse than silence, meaning silence means sometimes that you condone inappropriate behavior, or actually all the time does. So speak up, say something, and be like, in this company, in this team, this is what we stand for. And we do not tolerate these types of behaviors. And I will say that I stand for this. I haven't always been perfect about it. I haven't always known exactly what to do, but I'm learning and growing. And I will say that real women and men are not racist. Real women and men are not sexist. Real women and men do not blow these things off as some kind of fad. Real women and men respect everyone else as a part of human decency. And so really, again, those 3 things, I want you to get exposed to it and learn about it. If you see something, say something, and then share and teach others and expose your organization to these things so that they will speak up and stop it as well. I'll tell you, if I had to go back and change anything that happened about my experience with that suspension, I wouldn't. Best thing that ever happened to me. And so I am a little bit callous, and I'm not trying to be, but if somebody's like, well, if I say something, someone will get in trouble. Yeah, but it's also an opportunity for them to grow, right? And if this is a hard situation, great. It gets to be hard. Let's just fix it. Nothing good ever can come from hiding it or not speaking up. So I really hope that you'll take this seriously. Even this comment is probably not 100% in line with what I should say, but I will say this. Think about it. Do you want your best female friend in an environment like this? No. Do you want your spouse? No. Do you want your daughter? Absolutely not. And so I say that to make a heart connection, but I don't want anybody doing that. I don't want my son. I don't want my brother. I don't want my dad. I don't want anybody. Now that we know that it happens to women and minorities and other classes of people, let's do something about it. And I'll tell you, because it's the right thing to do. So I'm going to link you to a video in the description below. Please, please, please watch it. Please consider sharing it. Please consider having a discussion about it, because it matters. Because one instance of this happening is not worth it. One time is too many, because it can affect the victim. And I'm telling all of you out there, and especially any of you who might be skipping off this video and not believing me and being like, J Money is being overreactive, it's definitely not worth it for the consequences that you're about to face if you don't get educated and learn from wisdom instead of sad experience. I hope you've maybe not enjoyed this video, but learned something, and I hope that we can make progress together. Let's grow. On we go.